Let's talk crypto lending. I had to piece some of this together from snippets I found online, so please comment below if anything needs to be corrected. Let's set the stage. We have an investor who's looking for yield on his deposits and a borrower who's looking for a loan. We have the crypto lender who's connecting these two individuals and Tether who's acting like crypto people cover your ears, a central bank. Using the Celsius network as our prototypical crypto lender, the investor can earn 6% on his crypto deposits, even though the borrower only needs to pay 1% interest on his USDT or Tether loan. In the crypto world, all loans are over-collateralized, which means the borrower needs to give the lender some multiple of the loan value in a different cryptocurrency before he can borrow anything. Because the price of that collateral can change so dramatically, they agree to an LTV or loan to value ratio. In this case, it's 25%, which means to borrow $500,000 worth of Tether, he needs to hand over at least $2 million worth of something else. The lender doesn't have the funds to finance the loan, so Tether mints it out of thin air. There is a similar over-collateralization agreement between the lender and Tether. It's not clear exactly how much they hand over to secure the loan, but for the purpose of this story, it doesn't matter. So let's summarize where we are. The investor is earning 6% paid in Bitcoin, the borrower is paying 1% in USDT, and the lender is paying Tether 5%. They earn less than they pay and still have money left over for the investor? Okay, well, let's go with it and see what happens next. When the loan term expires, the borrower pays back the 500,000 USDT plus interest. It doesn't really matter where he got that 5,000 USDT from. We can assume he has a job or invested the loan and earned profit somewhere else. The lender now has to settle its loan with Tether. There is a slight problem though. The lender needs to pay 5% interest, but only earned 1% from the borrower. Thankfully, it has all this helpful Bitcoin sitting around, so it sells some of it to pay Tether, then returns the collateral to the borrower. Of course, you know where this is going. How exactly will the lender pay back the investor when it not only dipped into the investor's funds to pay Tether and run its business, but promised him an extra 6%? I was trying to brainstorm a few reasons this company hasn't gone bankrupt yet, and I came up with a few guesses. 1. Perhaps when they take those deposits from investors, they don't just hold them. They invest in other companies and leverage them up and gamble with them, increasing their return. Celsius has only existed in a bull market. Imagine what would happen if crypto prices started going down for any extended period of time. 2. Perhaps they don't expect the investor will ever withdraw their funds. If they keep rolling them over forever, this starts to look like a classic Bernie Madoff Ponzi scheme. The lender can keep issuing fake statements telling the investor how much he's worth, but there is nothing backing it up. 3. Maybe they aren't actually selling many 1% loans or paying anybody 6% yield. Eagle-eye viewers might have noticed this 0.25 BTC limit, and if you adjust the LTV and lower the collateral demand, you can see the interest rates for borrowing actually go up considerably. Maybe those teaser rates are like a loss leader used for promotions at a used car dealership, and when you show up, the car is magically already sold. 4. Maybe they are actually bleeding money, and that's why Tether keeps randomly minting new coins and sending them to their friends. Tether is a major investor in Celsius, and obviously has a vested interest in keeping them alive, conflict of interest, etc. Whatever the explanation, clearly this scheme only works if the price of Bitcoin and other cryptos keep going up. If that doesn't happen, let's do a little thought experiment stress test. If I take a $500,000 loan at 50% LTV, that requires me to put up $1 million in collateral. If the price of that collateral drops to just under $770K, my LTV is now 65%, and that triggers a margin call. At this point, the borrower needs to pay down the loan or add more collateral. That's just a 23% decline. We've seen declines that big in a single day. If the price of the collateral keeps dropping down to $625K, that brings the LTV to 80% and triggers liquidation. That's only a 37.5% decline. That's a tiny decline if we consider the wild swings we've seen over the years. I'm sure only a tiny number of loans were issued at the all-time Bitcoin high of $68,000, but a 23% drop from that level is only $52,000. A 37.5% drop is $42,000. We're not that far off today. We have seen many 80% plus declines in the past. That would put Bitcoin down below $14,000. Now, I have no way of knowing how many of their loans will trigger liquidation at what levels, But they are a new business. They have only existed during this latest bull market and have only become well known in the last 12 months when Bitcoin prices were already high. Here are a few questions that came to mind when putting this video together. Their collateral is 40% Bitcoin, 30% Ethereum. What's the other 30%? Are all of these assets highly correlated? Do they have any risk management at all? And something just feels weird about giving a bank money to borrow money. Imagine handing over $1 million to borrow $500,000. It feels strange. You really only should be putting something up as collateral if you can't sell it, or if you don't want to sell it. In this case, it's clearly the latter. But why don't they want to sell? Why are people borrowing at all? How likely are they to pay back their loans if they are using this service either for tax-free consumption or gambling by turning around and buying more crypto somewhere else? They make you agree not to spend the loan on crypto in their terms of use, but good luck enforcing it. I also couldn't help but wonder if the price did start to go down and trigger some of these levels, what percentage of total trading volume would be lenders liquidating collateral to settle margin calls? Many people probably believe the more Bitcoin gets locked in these funds, the higher the price will get. But it feels like a spring getting coiled that's ready to explode. If they are forced to dump in a crashing market, will they even find any bids? If we had multiple 80% declines in the past without all this leverage, what do you think will happen with it? I also just want to read some of their terms of use because it's really fascinating, I promise. We will not be liable for following any instructions we receive through your Celsius account, even if it was not authorized by you, or if it was entered by mistake, or is otherwise inaccurate. Otherwise inaccurate? Like if they had a bug in their software? You agree to reimburse us for all claims, costs, losses, and damages, including reasonable attorney's fees, that result from our following of your instructions to take any action related to your Celsius account. Wow. Your Celsius account is not a deposit or checking account, and Celsius does not hold any digital assets on your behalf. All eligible digital balances on your account represent digital assets that are either loaned by you to Celsius or held by Celsius as collateral, and therefore owned, held, and/or controlled by Celsius. Celsius may freeze, suspend, or terminate your account at any time in its sole discretion. You may apply to borrow certain fiat currencies or stablecoins from an affiliate of Celsius. Why are we giving collateral to Celsius and borrowing from an affiliate? By lending your eligible digital assets to Celsius, you grant Celsius all rights and title to such digital assets for Celsius to use in its sole discretion. Just for fun, let's end with a clip of the Celsius CEO accidentally saying the quiet part out loud.
We already have a great foundation. We have a great first floor. Now let's build a tower of applications or use cases, because the more of these we have, the more people are going to join this revolution. And that's really, if more people join, that makes your coins more valuable. The winning here is about how many people are joining the party.
I bet. Kinda sounds like a Ponzi scheme. Don't get me wrong, the financial system represents too large a percentage of US GDP and could benefit from some disruptions. But for a group of people who love using the word trust, this ain't it.